Titanic, like any other disaster, has a lot of myths about it. In this video, we will go from bad to the worst I could find. One Piece sinking theory. We all know this theory is fake. Look at the wreck. You can see the part of the ship that broke up. Some survivors thought the ship didn't break up. But what? Well, it's all because of perspective. Also, visibility is part of this. Most think it looked like this on the night Titanic sank. However, this is probably what it looked like. You see, there was no moon on the night Titanic sank, so it would be a lot more darker. Because of that, this is what the breakup would look like. Yes, you can still see the breakup a little, however, this is what it would have looked like from the view of collapsible B. This is the same thing without the effect. Passengers thought the sound of the ship breaking apart was the boilers and engines falling. On the topic of boilers, coal fire theory. Well, yes, a coal fire did happen on Titanic. The story they say isn't true. The theory states that a few days before Titanic was launched, a coal fire started. It's said the coal fire weakened the ship's hull. Because of this, Titanic couldn't hold up to the iceberg. This is fake because Titanic didn't have a boiler room when she was launched. Also, most of the pictures they show are edited. The other ones are just film grain. Third-class passengers were stuck behind gates in the sinking. If you've seen a Titanic movie like A Night to Remember, third-class passengers were stuck behind gates as Titanic sank lower and lower into the water. However, this isn't true. John Edward Hart, a third-class steward, reported that no gates were closed when the ship was sinking. But why did so many third-class passengers die? Well, before the sinking, third-class passengers stayed in their areas. Because of this, they wouldn't be familiar with the non-third-class areas. Most got lost in the maze of hallways. The others would stay in their areas, waiting for orders by the crew, as some gave up. More lifeboats, more survivors. Most think if Titanic had more lifeboats, there'd be more survivors. However, this isn't true. Around 205 to 209, Collapsible D was launched. At this time, Titanic's final plunge started. Titanic's crew were lucky to lower all boats except for Collapsible A and B. Both were floated off the ship as she dropped, but if Titanic had more boats, they probably would have been dragged down by the davits. None of the crew would have been able to launch them in time. Even if a lifeboat breaks free from the water, it would hit tons of people in the freezing water. A curse sank the ship. This is the first of many dumb ones. Although there are tons of theories about ghosts sinking the ship, I'll be going over the most known one, the mummy. There is no evidence that a mummy was on board. Next. Wait, what's this? I couldn't find another bad myth? Well, we're moving up a rank. Murdoch's suicide. Murdoch did die in the sinking, but his death isn't 100% known. Survivors reported an officer committing suicide. Today, most people think Murdoch did it. However, the reports were coming from the port side, not starboard. So what happened to Murdoch? Well, Second Officer Charles Herbert Lightoller said Murdoch was attempting to free Collapsible A when a massive wave washed him away. White Star Line said Titanic was unsinkable. Most think the White Star Line said Titanic was unsinkable. However, this isn't true. They said Titanic was as safe as they could make a ship at the time. Titanic's crew were careless. Most think Titanic's officers didn't care about the ship and passengers, or they didn't want to be late to New York. They say this because the ship was going full ahead in an ice field. This isn't true because when Titanic sank, a cold water mirage happened. Because of this, the crew thought they could see further than they could, because of the fake horizon from the cold water mirage. Joseph Bruce Ismay was a coward. Most think Joseph Bruce Ismay was a coward, who only cared about the money. The Lifeboat 5 incident is quote-unquote evidence. In the incident, Joseph Bruce Ismay freaked out, screaming to Fifth Officer lower away, lower away, lower away. Harold Godfrey Lowe responded with, "If you get the hell out of the way, we'll be able to do something." After this, Joseph Bruce Ismay said, "Do you know who I am?" Harold Godfrey Lowe responded with, "You're a passenger and I'm a ship's bloody officer. Now do what you're told." After this, Joseph Bruce Ismay left to Lifeboat 3. Some think he said lower away to low because he wanted to get on the boat, and leave, without wanting more people to board. However, I think Joseph Bruce Ismay just freaked out, underestimated the time Titanic had, and wanted the passengers to be safe. Also, why did he leave so late in the sinking if he was a coward? He left on Lifeboat C, lowered around 2 o'clock. Titanic fully sank around 2:20 a.m. to 2:25 a.m. High angle theory. I hate this sinking theory. Yes, there is no such thing as physics, according to the person that made this theory. I don't care that this isn't a myth, it's a sinking theory myth to me. Wait, if I hate it so much, why isn't it in the next tier? Well, comparing the other ones to this, there isn't a chance this is going into the tier. Speaking of the next tier. V-break theory. Wait, what just happened? Well, I have no idea what just happened. Anyways, this sinking myth is trash and makes no sense. You can see why the high angle theory isn't up here. Next, low angle theory. Sister to the high angle theory, and in my opinion, even worst. How did the ship even break? An explosion sank the ship. I don't even need to explain this, but I will. A survivor said it was an explosion. This survivor wasn't real, it was a hoax. The White Star Line purposely sank Titanic. Why would the White Star Line sink a ship that costed over $1 million? A U-boat sank Titanic. What? What is this theory? This makes no sense. Why is this a thing? Right sides Titanic theories. Now, this is what you've been waiting for, the worst myth I could find. The Titanic Olympic switch theory. I don't understand this. All of this is trash. So after the Olympic Hawk collision, Olympic couldn't be repaired, so they made Olympic look like Titanic. They purposely made the Olympic sink, as Titanic sailed on. Is time not a thing? How they switch the interior of both ships, edit the portholes, add an enclosed promenade, and redo the bridge wings, in under 40 days. Olympic was in dry dock for around 40 days, so how does this work? And if they were going to sink Olympic, why'd they put Edward John Smith, Thomas Andrews, and other important people from the White Star Line on the ship? Thank God I'm done with this video. People need to watch other historians like Historic Travels, Ocean Liner Designs, etc. so this stuff doesn't happen.